co-main event, AJ. Listen, the queen, Valentina Shevchenko, man, opened up as a minus 1,600 favorite against number 3 ranked lucky Lauren Murphy at plus 850 comeback. I'm not going to lie to you, AJ. I put $25 on Lauren Murphy at these odds just because. Just why not? It's plus 850. Why not? Let's see what happens. Worst case scenario, a miracle happens. She is lucky after all, and I get a nice little payday. But at the end of the day, I'm ready to lose those $25, man, because Valentina Shevchenko, who has, I believe, 5 consecutive UFC title defenses in the women's flyweight division, master of sport in taekwondo, master of sport in boxing, master of sport in judo, has been practicing martial arts for 28 consecutive years. It's going to be a tough and tall task for Lauren Murphy. But at the end of the day, man, we do need to break down this fight. So what I have to ask you off of the bat, AJ, is, has Valentina Shevchenko ultimately become the Amanda Nunes of her division, where she's cleaned out the entire division so much that people are trying to hype up Lauren Murphy as a potential contender? Or do you think Lauren Murphy is truly a contender for Valentina Shevchenko more than Jessica Andrade was in her last fight? What do you think?
I don't think so, man. I think Valentina Shevchenko has become, like you said, the GOAT of the division at the time, and has really become that Amanda Nunes status where it's kind of hard. Even the odd bakers, man, negative 1,600. God damn, that's a tall mound to task, and I don't really give Lauren Murphy that much of a shot, man. In her last fight against Joanna Calderwood, it wasn't a dominant win, even though it should have been. Even though JoJo, Lauren Murphy should have really put it to Calderwood. She really didn't get it done that decisively. It was a split decision win. Some people had it going for JoJo, others had it for going lucky for lucky Lauren Murphy. But it didn't make me excited when I was breaking down the fight. When I was watching that last fight of hers against Lauren Murphy's last fight, it didn't make me excited to see her up against Shevchenko. Man, I definitely think we're going to be getting one of those little Russian dances at the end from Shevchenko going forward. And it's hard to say because we counted Jessica Andrade out completely against Valentina Shevchenko, and I think it's the exact same thing here with Lauren Murphy, where we're not really giving her a shot because she didn't look that good in any of her last. Well, don't get me wrong, she looked good in her last fights, especially against Lilia Shakarova getting the round 2 choke out. Mm-hmm. She looks good. Even against Modafferi, she looked decent, but she still couldn't put away Modafferi, where if you put Shevchenko against Modafferi, we know that fight's getting finished. So do I think Lauren Murphy has a shot? Every puncher has a shot, yes, for sure. Is it as close as we think it's going to be? No, I don't think so, man. I think Lauren Murphy's kind of getting fed to the dogs on this one. What do you think?
Well, listen, man, I think that Lauren Murphy is an underdog in this one. I think she rightfully so should be. But I think that this could be a little similar to the Juliana Pena fight, where Lauren Murphy, I would not be surprised to see her win a round. I would not be surprised. And the reason why is because the thing that I think she does best, man, is her grappling, dude. She's strong, and I think she's bigger than Shevchenko. You know what I mean? I haven't seen them really like face-to-face line up, sizing each other up, but I think she could pull off a miraculous, I won the round 1 just by smothering my opponent for that, and then Valentina Shevchenko adjusts and does what she needs to do. So I wanted to ask you on that, what do you think Lauren Murphy does best?
It has to be the wrestling, right? Mm-hmm. Especially the one spot where she did control Calderwood in the last fight was in the wrestling. Yeah. She looked very, very dominant on that ground game, but I don't know, man. Valentina Shevchenko, I think everybody underestimated her when she was fighting Jennifer Maia, and Jennifer Maia was able to get a little ground game going. But then we saw what she did to Andrade. And don't get me wrong, Andrade isn't the best on the ground, but I do think Shevchenko out wrestles her in this one going forward. What were you gonna say?
Well, that's what I didn't mean Juliana Pena. I meant Jessica Maia. Jennifer Maia.
Jennifer Maia.
There we go. All these fucking names and whatnot. It was Jennifer Maia, right? It wasn't that the crazy one, though. She won, I think, the first round, and people went fucking crazy, and they were like, oh, my God, Valentina Shevchenko's washed. She's not the GOAT. Won one round, bro, you know what I mean? And then what happened? Shevchenko got the UD win, man. It's 5-round fights, man. You know what I'm saying? You got to pace yourself in these joints, man. So I do think that was very telling, and once again, I wouldn't be surprised to see Murphy win one. I think winning a round against Shevchenko is a moral victory for a lot of these fighters, and the thing that kind of concerned me a little bit, AJ, and I'm going to be honest, I really love the story of Lauren Murphy, right? Started jiu-jitsu back in 2009, just trying to get her son in shape and all that, fell in love with the sport, took a pro fight the next year, next thing you know, she's fighting for a world title. Like, what are we talking about? That's an incredible, incredible story. But just because I love the narrative doesn't mean that I'm going to love the actual outcome of the fight, man, because that's the UFC's job, is to build up these fights, to make it something that you want to tune into. And I think for Shevchenko, that's been the problem, is she's had to find opponents to where they could build it up to make it seem like it's going to be somewhat competitive. Valentina Shevchenko is just too good everywhere, man. And I think there's a premonition in this one, AJ. Let me tell me what you think about this, because when I was writing it down, I was like, there's no fucking way. And this is either going to be a good premonition or a bad premonition. So as it stands right now, but it's September 23rd, we're recording this for Valentina Shevchenko, right? 7 knockouts on her record, 7 submissions on her record, 7 decisions on her record. She is currently on a 7-fight win streak, AJ. That's not 3 sevens, but 4 sevens, right? So either something really bad is about to happen or something really good is about to happen, depending on what you believe, and if you even believe in coincidence or you believe in, you know what I mean, the numbers lining up, the universe. Tell me what you think of that, AJ.
And lucky number 7, she's fighting lucky Lauren Murphy.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a lot. If you're a suspicious person, if you're one of those that really tunes into it, you might want to throw some money on that plus 850 on there.
And one more, the fight's taking place in Vegas. Come on, dog. Like, yo, it's all lining up, literally, man. So, like, I don't know what to make of that, folks. You take that for what it's worth. But I will just say, man, that's 5 sevens then, basically, right? No, actually, that's 6 sevens, because we got the 7-7-7 fight win streak fighting lucky Lauren Murphy. We'll consider that a 7, and it's in Vegas. That's the 5th 7, man. Come on. So, listen, I guess that's just us trying to spice up and make this more competitive than it probably will be, because I see Shevchenko just absolutely dominating this fight, man. I guess the one thing that I wanted to point out, 77% takedown defense for Valentina Shevchenko, 34% takedown accuracy for Lauren Murphy. That's not very good at all. You know what I mean? However, when she gets you there, she's very, very strong. In the stand-up, I do think she's a little clunky, man. She's a little tight, a little rigid. You know, stays on the center line. If there's one thing we know about Valentina Shevchenko, man, she will take advantage of that. And if you do the wrong thing, she's going to Jessica eye you and knock you unconscious with one kick and then do her Russian dance and, you know, do all that stuff for the crowd. So ultimately, AJ, man, unless you got anything else to say about this, the 38-year-old lucky Lauren Murphy has a shot at gold. We'll see what happens, but who do you have and why?
Yeah, the 38-year-old lucky Lauren Murphy, that luck, it might run out. Who knows, though, man? Isn't it crazy that we think it's a moral victory to win one round? It's like Kevin Holland, where the moral victory was to stop a takedown. Like, that's crazy to me. That being said, regardless, I do think this is going to be an entertaining fight if you're a Shevchenko fan. I think I'm going Shevchenko KO, TKO round 2. I do think Lauren Murphy will make it out of the first round, but I think that's about it. Shevchenko's dominant. Not much you can say. We're going to be seeing the tap dance in the middle of the ring. I don't even know the name of it. I should get the name of it, but we're going to see Shev do her thing. What do you got there?
Well, you know what, man? I'm going to give lucky Lauren Murphy a little more credit because she's tough, man. If there's one thing we know about her, she's tough. It's not, I always say you never want to call a fighter tough. If I was a fighter, I would not want to be called tough because that just means I get hit too much. But at the end of the day, Lauren Murphy in her 19 career fights and her 4 losses have never come by knockout. She's never been knocked out, man. You know what I mean? She's never been submitted or knocked out. All 4 of her losses are via decision. So I think Shevchenko is probably going to cruise to a UD on this one against lucky Lauren Murphy. I'll give a 1 round to Murphy because I think she will be able to dominate with that strength. But as time goes on, man, it's easy to wrestle in round 1 and 2. It's a lot harder when you hit 3, 4, and 5, man. So it should be a fun one overall, man. This would be the 6th consecutive title defense for Shevchenko if she gets it done. And like I said, man, I don't care who you are. I don't care where you stand in terms of traditions, in terms of norms, in terms of how you feel about men versus females competing. Valentina Shevchenko is not arguably, she is probably the greatest athlete that we have right now in combat sports. You know what I mean? All well-rounded, balanced throughout all. We know Amanda Nunes is a monster of her own, but Valentina Shevchenko can do everything great. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we got, man. So yeah, I got the UD, you got the TKO round 2, man, and I think that sets us up.